Trish, I'm gonna sing this song while I lay down in this chair.
Okay.
This song is gonna mostly be about a baby bear.
Oh.
The bear ate honey, the bear ate bees, the bear ate a boy, and the bear ate a tree, and then he ate a car, and then he killed a man. He stabbed a baby, then he fucked a dad, and he's not afraid to fuck a man in the butt. Going to town and fuck shit up, yeah, he's a bear, and he's gonna grow up and be a motherfucking bear.
It's really crude. I don't think. I don't like that submission.
How was that? Was
It's
that
very crude.
What is that from?
That's
Was I
from
not on that?
Table Talk way back in the day.
It's an
It's
oldie,
really?
but a
Wow.
goodie.
Yeah, so it's
was
no, it's not
SourceFed
even
Nerd.
table
It
talk.
was SourceFed
It was
Nerd.
SourceFed Nerd, and it was like a movie review, maybe,
I forget. It
or
was,
a
Wow.
TV show review.
no, you got. Do you remember there was a SourceFed Nerd version of Table Talk for a while? It was a hangout and answer questions thing, or it was comment
comment
commentary.
commentary, yeah,
it was
yeah.
nerd comment
was
commentary.
nerd
You
commentary.
sat
Yeah,
in
you guys had
beanbag
beanbags. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow, that feels like that memory was plucked from my brain, and it didn't want to come to the forefront.
You might have been on that one time.
I don't think I think I was maybe on it one time, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh
your
yeah,
guy.
I think you were on it one time.
Wow.
Man, we really tried to capture that commentary love, but we just couldn't fucking. We tried so fucking hard to recreate what made SourceFed so good for so long, kicking and screaming, and it just never fucking worked out because those motherfuckers didn't listen. Just kidding. I'm sorry.
Welcome. If you're a new listener, we come from a thing called SourceFed, and we now are part of a thing called Valley Folk, and this is a podcast we do every week called the Valleycast, where we each bring a topic to the table. I'm Elliot Morgan, that's Joe Barrett, that's Steve Zaragoza. Normally we have Lee Newton, but we've had a long few weeks, and she's staying at home. Everyone is half resting, half doing work. So we have a special guest, one of our good friends and friends of our from SourceFed, Sam Basher.
Sam Basher.
Thank you for having me.
Sam Basher was just featured in the in the revered periodical, your hometown newspaper.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the Signal shout out.
Oh, that's cool. man.
Wait. What happened?
It's real cool. It's really
a
great.
friend from high school hit me up on Facebook. Was like, oh, well, we want to just basically. He was like, oh, my friend knows SourceFed, and he's like, do you still do that? I was like, no. And he's like, well, we still want to talk about what you do. Can we talk? Can you come and do an interview? So we did an interview at a coffee shop in my hometown, and man, I'll just admit, a little stupid that I realized that she just recorded the entire conversation, like intros.
You didn't realize.
No, I didn't realize she was recording everything, so I didn't say anything stupid. But like all of my ums and ums and everything is in the article.
You weren't
man.
speaking in sound bites like you're supposed to in those like.
No, it's just that
It's not
they,
about the
they
nerd stuff for me. It's about the passion behind. Yeah.
I think what he's saying is they just transcribed literally everything that was said to print.
Normally they clean it up though.
Yeah,
they
they'll
cleaned up
take
enough of
ums
it.
out.
They promoted what I wanted to promote. Also, it was kind of cool because they put me on the front page, and I didn't know they were going to do that.
Sam,
That's
you've
cool,
been
yeah.
you've been part of some really big things. You're doing a big thing now, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I think you're all going to agree. I hope that you could get a 10 million hits on a video. You could get your projects shouted out in Variety or Deadline, some of those big Hollywood things.
The trades.
Nothing feels
The papes.
weirdly better than getting in your small hometown newspaper and like being.
I don't know. I feel like
People love it.
Never more naked. I feel like is when I feel my most
you don't like
vulnerable
it?
publicly. Like,
I
that's-
love it.
I feel like I'm hidden from my hometown to the point that every now and then I still get messages from people who are like, "Hey, I just stumbled across your text," and I'm like, "Oh wow, yeah, oh man, oh no, this is so weird for me." I'm going back to do a stand-up show in Tampa on May 22nd.
You're going to be in your
And
hometown
it's
newspaper.
A lot of my hometown, and there's somebody who is from my hometown newspaper who wants to talk
There
to
you
me.
go, and now you
so
got it.
I'm about to go through this, and I'm very excited. Or no, maybe it's podcast. I don't know, but it's something like that.
It
and I'm
always
very-
feels real good, and it's happened a couple
I
times.
guess
for
it
me.
is a good feeling.
It's weird. It's
just
good.
Strange.
You
yeah.
grew up reading it, like for whatever reason in your subconscious.
ledger,
It
the
still
Lakeland
feels
ledger,
cool, right?
I actually, my brother found a time when I was in it before, when I was in 4th grade with my grandparents, who have both sadly passed. But it was just like when I brought home the newspaper to show my parents, he had that by accident when he was doing some cleaning. So it was just kind of a sweet moment where I now have both of those in
That's
my house.
cool. Yeah.
And if I ever do a scrapbook, I can put those together. And I 100% agree. It's super flattering. And I don't know, it's just it felt a little extra special.
It's like little childhood Sam getting a shout out from the people that you grew up around and revered. And I did a graduation speech at my high school once.
Really?
And I was nervous beyond all belief. But looking back on it, it's one of my favorite honors that I've ever had in my life.
Man, I'll
Yep.
never get to do that because
You
I
never
just
know.
left my school. I didn't graduate.
You never know.
I just like
They'll-
peaced
you
out.
get big enough, they'll claim you.
Yeah, but I honestly, if any school I've been to asks me because of some form of fame reason to come talk at the school, I swear to God I would go and just be like, you don't want to hear from me. I didn't graduate from this school. I didn't like this school.
At
Why
that
am
point,
I-
your brand is going to be so established that they're going to be like, we know.
Oh, right,
Like,
right.
that's why we want
Listen
it.
to that, Zaragoza. Shout out to Columbia Falls High School, by the way. Love it. Go Wildcats.
So Sam Basher, what a treat to have you on the Valleycast.
Thanks for having me.
Is this your first time on?
This one, yeah.
It
yeah.
is,
Cool.
yeah. And I love you so much, Sam, and I miss you so much.
Miss you too.
And you know, it's I have nothing bad to say about you, Sam. You're a good boy, and I'm glad you're here. And I think we should do more stuff together.
I agree.
It's been too long, and you know, we're all busy with our shit. Which, by the way, you should talk about what the hell you're working on right now.
I kind of, you guys have been busy, and I've been doing a little thing over with my co-host DJ Woldridge, and we
Also formerly of SourceFed.
There
Yeah.
you go. And we just started teaming up with the people behind Life Noggin to make a channel called Might Be Awesome. And the idea is just kind of answering big nerdy questions using animation, because that's what Life Noggin does. That's their
Yeah,
bread and
yeah.
butter. And
Yeah.
then we'll dive into them and like find like weird avenues we can go down, and we get to work with awesome animators, and that's been really cool.
That's so rad.
Mm-hmm.
Animated YouTube stuff will always be cool.
It's also blowing up right now. Like, I just
Yeah.
Animation's
I met a
huge.
guy named, do you know who Alex Clark is?
I know that. Wait, does he do Odd Ones Out?
He's his own guy, I think, but he does animation. He's and he basically, he's been on YouTube for about the same amount of time that Joe has, and he's one of those old school people. But then he recently
40
blew
years.
up and has
Yep.
like about 45 years. Yeah, and he blew up to like, he's up to like 4 million subscribers right now. And it's all animation. He's doing like a live stand-up tour, and like out of nowhere he's just popping, because one of the reasons being that animation is like huge.
Yeah, they've been working hard forever, but they only do like one video a month now, and it gets like 9 million views.
Yeah.
And then they wait a month to work on whatever they want to do, and then put that out after. It's
Yeah.
super cool, and it's very challenging because we don't know what to tell the animators ever.
Yeah.
And you know what I like about it, and you can tell us kind of what your frequency is. You know, we're still kind of, we have that old school, again, SourceFed PTSD of like, we got to put stuff out all the time because that's how it feels. And then like, maybe you're not putting your best foot forward all of the time. One video whenever you want, you got to make it big. You put in the effort, you got to put in the work. You're double and triple checking. You're doing research, and then you're putting basically putting forth like a thesis paper. You know, your dissertation for that month. And I feel like that's a different type of creation that sometimes we don't get to focus on. And
Labor heavy.
yeah.
No, I 100% agree. But we are trying to do a mix of both, where it's like there's animation segments just to prove our point or to explain what we're talking about. So there's live action, there's assets, and then there's animation. But even then, it's like I feel like sometimes my brain's exploding. Also, it's really heavy research. It's real. Like we just did a video on what happened to Earth after Thanos snapped his fingers in Infinity War, and like what happens to planes, what happens to the infrastructure, what happens to your internal biome. Because they said like in the movie they said plants and animals died, and you're like, well, that doesn't make any.
No more tulips.
That didn't work. So
Shit.
like, what happens after that, and like what numbers you're looking at for like death count and stuff, and it's
Wow.
Like,
And
what if the
deaths
bees
as-
finally go, man? What if the bees are gone?
Well, and
Exactly.
for symbiotic relationships, if it's completely random, that means that like half of the microbes in your body also may die, and therefore, like what microbes you have that are like sustaining different
Yeah.
systems in you, a lot of people would just get sick,
Yeah.
without even dying.
Did you find that there were deaths as a result of the snap?
Oh yeah, no, like but,
human deaths?
like easy is what if a pilot like stopped,
midair,
just disappeared,
yeah.
or got distracted? There's 5,000 planes around above the United States at any point, and just thinking drivers.
2,500 are
or
down.
even like air traffic controllers.
Exactly, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
2,500
Wow.
are down, and how many of those crash onto or into other?
Yeah.
you
And what,
know,
like,
'cause
you
they'll
were
just
saying.
coast. They're gonna.
Yeah, and infrastructure, like you was saying, nuclear power plants, dams, like everything. Yep.
Shipping, like you, or like if
Big old tankers right into.
yeah, they would. There's no one piloting them anymore. There's a lot of unforeseen, like there's no balance to it. Also, when it comes to like endangered species versus like species we use for like food or whatnot,
Yeah.
like what's left after that. It's really interesting. We've been having a blast.
Yeah, what if that guy who stops all the earthquakes goes? Like,
Exactly.
what are we gonna do?
So what we're saying is that as a result of the snap, catastrophic events occurred that we were not privy to in the universe of the MCU. And so what we're talking about here is so much more death and destruction than we initially thought.
Yes.
I wonder why they didn't talk about that in the movie.
Because it was already 4 hours long.
I think it begs the question why Thanos would choose to do it in the first place. It would basically reveal that like the entire conceit of the first movie didn't make any logical sense, and the reason for him doing it was supposedly based in logic. And it's like, well, this is my way of balancing it. But if people were like Sam were to go to Thanos and be like, nah, then the reason for him doing it wouldn't be justified, and the plot wouldn't be able to be moved forward.
We're just talking Earth infrastructure.
What
about everywhere else?
I don't like thinking and knowing that our main villain in an epic finale of a movie series or something is truly just like a big idiot.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
It made sense when it was just humans.
Yeah, I don't like big idiots as the villain.
Because that makes sense. I mean, it would suck, the planes would suck and all that, but like the resources would still be there. But to just take, if you have, 6 humans, and if you have 6 humans, and you have 4 plants that they can eat, and you get rid of half of each, then you just have 3.
It's exactly the same.
It's exponentially smaller. It doesn't make any sense.
It takes very basic math skills if you're removing all the resources and all the people.
Nothing changed except for land mass.
It's just the idea of ratios.
Like John Doe
quick pause. If you guys start drifting into the next movie, I have not seen Endgame, so don't go there to ask me.
Oh, yeah.
No. We haven't touched it.
Yeah, we haven't touched it even a little bit.
Okay, good.
But I will say...
but you are going to hate
John Doe from 7 was like a fucking genius. Like, he's a maniac, but he's a fucking genius. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Basically, if you don't remember, John Doe, which played by the late Kevin Spacey,
Spoilers.
in hell.
Spoilers if you haven't seen the movie from the 90s, 7.
He played this incredible villain, John Doe, in the movie 7 with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman.
Morgan J. Freeman. And Gwyneth J. Paltrow.
And
Gwyneth Downey Paltrow.
Pepper Downey Paltrow.
You can't put Downey after people's names.
James Earl Downey Jr. Jones. But anyway, in 7, which if you haven't seen 7, that's like one of the fucking best. It's so
amazing.
Good. It's just like it's
one of the best thriller dramas of all time.
Here's the thing: if you're one of those fucking millennials that loves those murder shows. And those fucking I love them too, man. I'm one of those fucking millennials.
The documentary?
Yeah. Those documentary series or those fucking shows where, where they're like, they delve into what happened to the man in the picture, and they do all that shit. Then 7 is the fucking movie for you, essentially, because it is that. It's like one of those, I mean, it's a work of fiction, but it's but it's a killer that kills people using the 7 deadly sins.
Yep.
How does this relate back to Thanos?
Well, the way it relates back to Thanos is that
Thanos isn't a genius.
The John Doe character is like a genius, and then his last sin is like whatever it is, and then you see what it is, and then you're like, holy shit, you're blown away by it.
That said, if he messes up, he can just go, oh, I meant whatever, and he can just fix it. So he would just be able to.
I mean, you'd think that with the gauntlet. Sam, you're our resident. Now we're just gonna fucking talk about this the whole time. I don't give a fuck. I'm ready to just talk about this.
But we're gonna accidentally step on a. I'm worried I will say a spoiler.
Well, let's not. I just want to ask. So let's be careful. And so I'm not even talking about Endgame at all. No, because we don't want listeners to also feel like you, Joe, who haven't seen the movie yet.
They do. Right now they are very scared.
Okay,
it's interesting.
Just know that we've got Sam, who's a good boy who doesn't spoil shit, who understands the nerd world. We got Steve, who's a good boy that doesn't spoil shit and understands. We've got this.
It's very rare you hear a conversation in real time with the explicit goal of not spoiling something.
I also know
usually you're like, there's no spoilers. We're trying really hard.
Well, we're just trying to be respectful. Because at this point, it's like, yes, Endgame has been out for a while. Yes, if you haven't seen it, you're a piece of shit. You should have seen it already.
Okay,
and
I'm gonna go. Goodbye.
No. Stay. It's just that
it's 3 hours of really good.
Yeah, that's the thing. We're being respectful because it is the end of a fucking giant saga of great movies, and I would never want to spoil anything
All right,
about
make
that.
your point. Make your point.
Yeah.
Make
So
your point.
anyway,
Make your point.
my point is that so this was my question.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just talk about it from Infinity War. What the fuck does every stone do?
Oh, they it used
Is there
to,
just nothing?
No, it was
Yeah.
comic book garbage. It was like we got to get
Okay.
this. If you need like like you need all the Dragon Balls to make a wish or whatever.
Yeah.
And Dragon Ball like whatever. That's the same.
It's like that kind of logic.
Because
but
once
it
you have that
used-
reality one, you can do whatever the fuck
Exactly.
you want.
They were all
Yeah.
called one thing, like the reality one or whatever. Didn't matter. Like
Reality,
they call
soul,
it, and then they gave them different
or spirit.
Yeah.
powers or
Yeah.
whatever.
the one
time.
I'm most curious about is the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
What
Well,
does it do?
It controls us ghosts.
It controls a ghost.
One ghost.
No, because reality
Robert
feels
Downey Douglas.
Robert Downey, Michael
Ant-Man.
Douglas Jr. Sammy Davis, Robert Downey Jr.
Dougie Downey Fresh.
No, yeah, that sometimes it's just kind of convoluted once you throw that in there. But man, I know I wanted to come back for a second. This movie feels like the end of a generational like high point.
Yeah,
basically. 'Cause
yeah,
I don't know what's because Star Wars wasn't something that was in my childhood. I
Yeah.
watched it later, and it's still I can say that it's cool. But this is something that is unprecedented when it comes to cinema.
Dude, I was
Joe and
talking
I
to
were just talking about
I was
this.
talking to
Yeah.
Steve about this. My daughter was born in 2007.
Whoa.
This is the only cinematic world she thinks exists.
Yeah,
this is
Iron
how
Man
she
came out when she
thinks-
was 1.
This is how she thinks movies
less.
have been made forever. This is Hollywood
Or more.
production to her, normalized. This isn't normal. This is so.
It's not normal. They're living in a world where, yeah, superhero movies are kind of just like commonplace, which kind of begs the question, does that mean that there will be kind of like the rebellious generation uprising that just because they're big budget, big studio movies, regardless of how good they are, they're going to rebel against it and be like, we fucking hate superhero movies? Is there like a
mean,
new generation coming?
I
you think?
don't think so. I mean, if they are, but the reason they work is because they're good. Like there's like they know how to cast them, they know how to get the directors and the creative team behind them, and they have a clear vision of what they want to do. The clear vision.
Marvel-
They didn't know
Marvel
what they were
did.
going to do.
Marvel
yeah, Marvel
definitely
did.
Well, but then you think about something like Star Wars, and it's like when Star Wars came out, there were certainly people that didn't like it, and then there were certainly people that loved it to the point where it became this massive fucking future success or whatever. But for a time, there were people who, like, when Return of the Jedi came out, were like, the Ewoks are dumb and I hate them and I hate everything about this movie. And this movie, Return of the Jedi, is just Muppets. And, like, I don't care about this movie. And so, and then there was that, like, time, that giant gap where Star Wars just wasn't cool and there weren't any Star Wars movies. And if you liked Star Wars, it was kind of nerdy and not cool. And so, like, is there that kind of thing coming for superhero stuff?
You
think?
might get burnt out. Like, I mean, the DC stuff, everyone kind of is either checked out on or just they kind of like haphazardly like check in with it. Like they don't care.
Shazam was
Yeah.
refreshing.
It was, and
I still haven't
people
seen it.
people liked Aquaman. I did, and there's a.
I mean, I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it either. I could see that they worked hard on the movie, so
Yeah.
I can't totally poo-poo it. But
Right.
I didn't care about it.
Yeah, I'll never watch it again.
No, it's good.
Ever.
Yeah. No, I don't want to.
Alana
don't-
liked it a lot because it's like sea creatures and the ocean and like that kind of thing.
Pitbull has
so
a
that,
song.
that might be the only reason why I ever watch it again.
Your Pitbull song? It's a
To
cover
the
of
Africa? Oh,
yeah,
God.
it's amazing. It's so good.
I still want to do that video where it's like scenes from Aquaman that just have like them like pooping like fish in the middle of it. Like you'll just see like Aquaman standing there and he's like, "We must save the people of Earth," and then you just hear like. Bloop, bloop. And then while he's talking, you just see like a cloud of brown dust just kind of like float over him.
That's not a
'Cause
fart. That's
why is
poo-
it-
that's poop.
It's poop. Yeah. Why aren't we seeing
That
them
poop.
poop? Why aren't we seeing them poop like fish?
I don't care about any of that stuff. Who gives a shit?
Anyway, okay. So
well, to make a point to it all, I do think. I mean, we're gonna go. What is it? Phase 3 we're going into?
4.
4, whatever.
Mhm.
I do think people are probably a little burnt out, but it doesn't matter because the numbers are backing it up. What they did in that box office in 3 days, it was like 1.2 billion worldwide. It was nuts. But I do predict, because things are cyclical, there will be a resurgence, I think, alongside these superhero movies of innovative, almost like indie type flicks that end up blowing up again and doing very well.
sure.
Like
Which have
A24
died
is
for a
doing
bit.
A24
Yeah.
is doing really well right now,
Yeah,
and there's a
dude.
lot of stuff that's mainstream, and they do a good job of hiding the stuff that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like Under the Silver Lake, they kind of just like they shelved that one a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
It came out, but no one
Did they
talked about it.
did they wrap up like the Marvel TV shows at the same time? Like, is Agents of
There's some
Shield
kind of
taking
Disney
care of?
Plus
still
thing.
going.
There's
It's
some
still
kind-
going. And then
is-
what about Daredevil? That's done.
They-
Daredevil's gone,
Netflix
And
had to
then
chop them all
The
because of
Punisher?
Disney Plus.
That one's gone.
Oh, and they had to chop all of them.
They
for
all
Disney.
stopped.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I just
And it
was
had-
touching Sam's leg.
It had nothing to do with the movie ending, Avengers ending.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I think there might be some kind of Disney Plus
Yeah,
thing
for
happening.
sure.
But it's weird because Hulu today announced a bunch of Marvel
Wait, are
shows.
you, are you speculating?
Yeah, they announced a Ghost Rider show and then a Son of Satan. What I forgot what the guy's
Are you-
name is. Yeah.
Swamp Thing.
But
or
are you
something?
speculating, Joe, or
The what?
The Disney Plus thing? Because I'm
We're
believing you as
no. It's speculation.
Oh, I thought you
Speculation,
were-
but it's
I thought
for
you knew.
sure
Okay.
because of Disney Plus.
Yes. It's one
Okay.
of those things
That's
where
all
it's
I
like
knew. Yeah,
Disney
no.
Plus is
I
launching.
I thought you'd like read something.
I mean,
but no.
what it feels like is like Disney's this monster fucking powerhouse that is unstoppable at this point.
It
And
makes
I think
perfect sense.
I think what they're trying to do. I mean, I don't know much about like fucking business analytics and shit, but I do know that a good business move would be to sprinkle a couple of licenses to Hulu and Netflix and kind of spread your wings a little bit because not everybody's going to have Disney Plus.
Actually, that's that's a good
No,
idea because
no,
that's
go
what
ahead.
people have been doing. But the trend right now is to not do that. Like
Yeah.
DC
so that
just
everyone can have
launched
their exclusive
exactly
shit.
because
Yeah.
Warner Brothers is launching a service soon. Universal might be as well, and Disney's got
Right, I
Disney
just think
Plus.
that's what Disney's doing.
Disney
Yeah.
Plus, when I saw the trailer for it, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to
Gotta
sign
take-
up for that.
gotta get that.
Oh, there's no world where I'm not a day one Disney Plus.
Oh, did you guys see that
subscriber.
article that if everybody born moving forward, once Disney Plus launches, you just get a login and a password?
And your son here, ooh, it's a beautiful boy, and it looks like, yep, there's that Disney Plus code. And what are you gonna name it? Dude, I just
little Rebecca Downey Beretta.
Tangled because it's her favorite movie already. We went into her future brain and found out she loves Tangled.
Did you know there was a study done? You know the Ig Nobel prizes? They're prizes for scientific experiments that sound stupid but are actually really helpful.
way.
There is a group of
Tell me
scientists.
what that's called again?
The Ig Nobel.
Ig No-
Yeah, IG Nobel. And then someone was able to measure 2 weeks ahead of time when someone was going to fall based on something like a trip that they had. And they could basically map out when people were going to trip and fall 2 weeks ahead of time.
What?
Yeah.
A specific person or
Yeah,
any person?
anyone.
Just because of like how they walk and
Yeah.
the variables of
they
physics.
they could measure when people were going to fall.
Wow.
Okay, but we still can't tell when earthquakes are.
Dude,
happening.
that's some Jeff Goldblum chaos theory shit from Jurassic Park.
Let me go ahead and pull it. I'm gonna look them up really quick because the Ig Nobels they're so interesting because they sound stupid
And
but
they're
when you go
real.
in-
Woo, they're
they're
there.
super
Yeah,
real.
Yeah,
Ah,
there
fun.
we go, Steve.
Yeah, let me
I like
look.
that. I can hear me now.
Yeah, no, they're super. There's a podcast out there called No Such Thing as a Fish, and they are researchers for a trivia show. But the researchers take all their dumb facts they have
That's
left over
so
and have a
cool.
podcast about it.
What a
and
great idea.
It's so good. I learned so much from
Cool.
them. And I forget everything immediately.
Of course,
but it is
because it's
really
totally
cool.
useless.
Yeah.
Not to jump away from this topic because it's really cool, but back to Disney Plus really quick.
Yeah.
Slash Film has an article where they said that Willow might have a sequel series on Disney Plus.
I'm so on board. I don't
Which is
care.
like, holy shit, dude. I get emotional thinking about the possibilities on Disney Plus. Like
What's going on here?
everything we can think of. What's wrong?
You can keep it on if you want.
It's just a superhero music because we're talking about superheroes still.
I'll just take my head. Yeah.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless. Like what if they did like the Roger Rabbit sequels they kept talking about they do, or what if they
Yeah.
brought back
Cool.
fucking gargoyles,
Terrifying.
or like
Terrifying.
No, they could.
I mean-
and they could animate them too if they wanted to.
Yeah.
They could basically do whatever they
and
want.
they
have-
probably will.
Yeah.
like imagine that.
Especially
I mean,
as
they're-
nostalgia just becomes more and more marketable as kids continue to age.
yeah,
and age.
dude. There's an Animaniacs show being made
Yeah.
as we speak.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
For sure.
For what? Who gets it?
maybe Hulu. I think. I
Wow.
thought
Okay.
Hulu got it.
with same.
I think
Hulu
yeah. All those voices
Animaniacs.
they're still alive and kicking.
That's super cool.
Gummy bears, they gonna be coming back.
Fuck yeah.
yeah, I mean that's the thing, man.
Darkwing
like
Duck. Why haven't we seen Darkwing
Dude,
Duck
no,
forever?
Didn't we?
Yeah,
Didn't they relaunch
okay,
it?
so
the
DuckTales
DuckTales
show.
show,
Uh huh.
which is actually really good.
It is.
Started to sprinkle in Disney Afternoon characters, and like I think they're teasing potential
Wow.
spin-offs and shit.
Cool.
Which like imagine a Darkwing Duck in that style
Yeah,
with
that'd be
like
cool.
because I
Yeah.
mean the voice cast on the DuckTales cartoon is like really good.
Mm-hmm. It's Ben Schwartz, Danny
And, like,
Pudi, David
David
Tennant.
Tennant
Tennant is
is
Scrooge
Scrooge.
McDuck.
And they got Don Cheadle to
Yeah.
play him too, which is so good.
It's yeah, I mean if they do things right, Disney Plus could be a place where we have like a Willow series, we have like a Rocketeer series. Imagine that shit. Like I want this stuff. Like I will pay them money to bring me the nostalgia to make me feel like a kid again.
Yep.
You
Have
know?
you seen the one with Jeff Goldblum's Eyes of the World or whatever? He travels the world and just does Jeff
Oh
Goldblum
my
stuff in different
God.
countries and stuff.
Wait.
It's like
No.
Anthony Bourdain, but Jeff Goldblum.
No
it's
way.
perfect. It's perfect.
And it's coming to, it's the Nat Geo vertical that they have.
Oh my!
Yeah, super
gosh.
excited.
Jeff Downey Goldblum Jr.
Dude, I saw Jeff Goldblum on a like a so like you know how airplanes have like their own shows, like airlines
Yeah.
have their own like.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that, but it was on the airplane like thing, and it was like Jeff Goldblum like hosting a show where like he has like celebrity friends come in, and then it's like, and then I had peanuts in Mexico. Let's check that out. And then it's Jeff Goldblum like in Mexico, like cracking open peanuts and like eating them. and
Sounds
going-
like it's probably clips from the show that he's
Probably.
talking about.
no, I like watched a whole thing, but it was like the most disjointed, like weird thing I'd ever seen, and it wasn't like in an ironic, like funny way. It was like something
bad.
went wrong. It was like, well, this show is too not focused. Hey everybody, it's your pal Steve Zaragoza here with a special ad read break. How's everybody doing? I'm doing well, thank you for asking. Guys, let's talk a little bit about Stitch Fix. You guys heard of Stitch Fix? Let's describe your look in one word. Is it casual, sophisticated, playful? However you dress, Stitch Fix has the expert professional stylists that can help you look your best. Personal style is like a fingerprint. Everybody has their own. Whatever your style, the expert stylists at Stitch Fix are ready to help you express yourself. Not all clothes are fit for all men. With Stitch Fix, your personal stylist will send you clothing that makes you look your best. Less one size fits all and more like this fits your style. Stitch Fix is an online personal styling service that delivers your favorite clothing brands right to your door. To get started, you just go to stitchfix.com/Valley, I'm gonna assume. Hey, Joe! The code is Valley on everything, right? It just says, right here, it says, show. Yeah. Yeah, it says, actually, it says Valley at the bottom there. Yeah. All right, I'm going to give you an edit point, Kate or Joe or whoever's editing this. Stitch Fix is an online personal styling service that delivers your favorite clothing brands right to your door. To get started, go to stitchfix.com/Valley. Answer some questions about your preferred style, and your personal shopper will ship you a box of clothes, shoes, and accessories. There's no commitment required, and you only pay for what you keep. Shipping, exchanges, and returns are always free. Plus, the $20 styling fee is automatically applied towards anything you keep from your box. You'll never have to think about looking good again with Stitch Fix. So, guys, get started today at stitchfix.com/Valley and get an extra 25% off when you keep everything in your box. That's stitchfix.com/Valley, stitchfix.com/Valley. Hey guys, losing hair sucks. And 2 out of 3 guys will experience hair loss by the time they're 35. Introducing Keeps. Keeps is just the easiest and most affordable way to keep your hair that you have. These FDA-approved products used to cost so much, but now thanks to Keeps, they're finally inexpensive and easy to get. For 5 minutes now and starting at just $10 per month, you'll never have to worry about hair loss again. Getting started with Keeps is so easy. You sign up, it just takes 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes even. Just answer a few questions and snap some of your photos of your hair, and then a licensed physician will review your information online and recommend the right treatment for you. And then, my friends, it's shipped right to your door every 3 months. Keeps offers generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products out there. Some of you have probably tried them before, but you've never gotten them for this price, that's for sure. Keeps is only $10 to $35 a month. Plus, now you can get your first month free. That's one hell of a deal for getting to keep your hair. So guys, receive your first month of treatment for free. Go to keeps.com/Valleycast. That's Keeps, KEEPS.com/Valleycast. And that's a free month of treatment at Keeps.com/Valleycast. Keeps, hair today, hair tomorrow.
I'd like to hear some useless facts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm trying to pull up. I pulled up the most recent winners of Ig Nobel prizes, and there's categories like the
Please.
Nobel prizes.
I want to know
Please.
everything about this learning about when people
Okay,
trip.
chemistry prize. This is in Portugal. Two scientists measured the degree to which human saliva is a good cleaning agent for dirty surfaces, and they won. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, like you could just hawk a lube on the counter and
start
wipe it
cleaning
up.
with it.
That's so funny.
I love it. These are just bored scientists or something.
With a lot
Well,
of
we got
grant
this
money.
grant. What are
They're
we gonna
like,
do with
everyone
it?
else is working on cancer and shit. We'll go work on this dumb stuff.
You need PhD like to get like those things. You have to
Yeah.
do research that supposedly hasn't been done before, so they get super specific with stuff.
Well, this one is they calculated the caloric intake from human cannibalism diet is significantly lower than the caloric intake of other traditional meat diets.
Oh, so we don't have a lot
not
of
as
calories.
nutritious.
we are healthy in a weird way.
We are healthy, but
Oh no,
not-
it's less. We're
no,
less.
we're
nutritious.
less
We're less
nutritious
We're
than
not
a normal
nutritious.
meat.
Yeah,
And
Because
we're-
we're walking garbage
So we're
miles.
not healthy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know if you ate me, you would come out worse. It would not do you
I do
any
not take
favors.
care of
I
myself.
had some Elliot
whatsoever.
Morgan and I got sepsis.
This isn't a good cut.
It's so yeah. I got here really quick. Animaniacs is coming back as a Hulu original series.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Man, you got to have everything now, and it adds up to having cable again.
dude, bring back fucking Freakazoid. Remember Freakazoid?
Dude,
That
you
one
talk
gave
about
me
it all the time.
nightmares. That one gave me
Freakazoid
nightmares
gave
as
you
a kid.
nightmares?
Yeah, I
I
couldn't
was
watch
never
that
a fan
one.
of Freakazoid. Yeah. Not my deal.
So since we have Sam on, I think it's fun to talk about some of the nerdier stuff or whatever. But we don't have to dig too deep. But my topic was going to be about how Quentin Tarantino released The Hateful Eight as a miniseries on Netflix. Did you guys hear about this?
he added some extra footage, and it was
Yeah.
long enough that it's like, screw it, let's bust it up into a miniseries of 4. So I'm guessing they're an hour each.
Yeah, they're an hour each, and I guess Netflix reached out to him and they were like, "You want to put it on as like a series?" And I guess he just thought it was a fun idea.
Sure.
So, and he chopped it up, and now it's a fucking series on Netflix. And I guess there's no official word, but from Quentin Tarantino himself, he says that if you've seen The Hateful Eight, this version of it, this miniseries version, has like maybe 30 minutes of new stuff.
Ooh.
It's a play.
It's a very long movie, but it's really cool. It's just like a performance. It's just a performance
It's just
piece. Yeah.
eight actors just chewing up the scenery. It's really fun.
Yeah, so anyway, Tarantino was like, fuck it, I'll turn it into a series or whatever. And I guess it's kind of an experiment, and I guess he had a lot of fun doing it. And so people were asking him, and this is something that the nerd world has kind of known about for a while, but nobody really talks about it because it's kind of like a fabled thing. But you guys have seen Kill Bill, the Kill Bill movies, right?
Yes, Steve.
There's a version of Kill Bill called The Whole Bloody Affair, and it only screened like maybe twice or something. And apparently some people have a copy of it, but it's not, I don't know.
It's like where the scenes aren't in black and white. and all
Yeah,
that.
there's like a bunch of different things like that. Yeah, the whole black and white
That's cool.
fight is in color in this version, and there's like a bunch of it's just one giant cohesive movie.
Yeah.
And so they asked in an interview recently if he would put that on as like a series on Netflix, and he's like, no. And they're like,
No, I actually like Kill Bill. So.
yeah. And but they did ask him about if he'd do that with any other show, and he was like, no, but I have like a version of Django Unchained that's like a director's cut, and he says it's like 3 hours and 20 minutes,
Long movies.
which means how much did he fucking cut out?
Director's cuts are always just aggressively long.
But the thing is like
Mean.
I get the idea that like a long movie
That's
is
a
like
mean thing
That's
to do.
I totally get that.
3 hour and 20-minute movie?
I get that. Like who wants to sit there for fucking 3.5 hours staring at a TV screen? But
will say-
but like Tarantino makes masterpieces, and it's like when a Tarantino movie ends, for me and for a lot of people, I think they don't want it to end because it's such
yeah.
a great.
Oh, I
fucking
love
movie.
Tarantino movies. Yeah.
So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but some movies are like No, you didn't need to be that long.
Well, Avengers, I will say, did not feel like 3 hours.
It
to me.
felt
No,
like
it
3 hours
chugs.
to me.
It really doesn't waste any time.
Yeah, I really thought it moved well. I will say though, at the end, I didn't stay for the after the credits or anything like that. I just got up, and especially after you kind of clarified.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I was like, I'd served.
I
my
don't
time.
need to sit through 20 minutes of credits for
Yeah.
that. I'll just check
Yeah.
it out online.
Exactly. I'll go to the end.
But not to spoil anything, but if you do sit through it, there is kind of a treat.
There's a thing.
There's a treat. That
There's-
treat's
yeah.
a good way to
There's
say
a treat,
it. Yeah. Did you watch Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
Yeah, I haven't
didn't,
finished
but
it.
it
Watched
sounds
about half
good.
of it. It's pretty
Dude,
good. Yeah.
can I tell you how I've described it? And I think this would get people more interested in it because I think people just aren't really interested in it. It's basically because it's the Coen brothers who did Lebowski and things like that.
Just that. It's the only thing they
That's
ever
the
did.
only thing they ever did.
Yeah.
'Cause, but it's
They
it's,
did "Oh Downey, Where Art Thou?"
Yes, that's the one. No Country for Old Downey Jr. Man. But
There
no,
will
they-
be Downey.
So it's the Coen brother. I'd say it's like a West,
That was not them.
It's like I'd say it's like a
That was Paul
Western.
Anderson.
It's
Paul
like
Downey Anderson.
God damn it.
Junior.
I'd say it's like a Western Black Mirror. Because it is like it's a movie length thing, but it's like little like stories, and it really does
It's
feel
like
like
an anthology.
yeah, it's like an anthology with like Old West stuff, and like for a lot of people maybe Old West isn't that interesting, but it's so good, and the actors are amazing, and there's music.
It reminds me of a book of short stories.
Yeah, it is. It totally, and I think that's how the format of the film is too. There's like a book and stuff.
Really quick.
There's-
Last year, 2 scientists proved that roller coasters are a fun and harmless way to pass kidney stones. And they used Big Thunder Mountain Railroad to prove it.
Yeah,
Wow,
I
so
heard about
barely a
that.
roller
There you go.
You could have done that, Steve.
You could have done it.
I just couldn't. There was just no way for me to make it to Disneyland.
Dude,
They had to
Yeah,
write it
wheel
60
you in.
times.
They also said
60 times.
60 times.
just
know what
the
else?
gravity's just whipping it. The centrifugal
Please,
force
no
is just whipping it right out of your penis.
And then when they were done on the 60th time, they were like, "It was fun and harmless."
Yeah,
Dude,
fun and harmless.
Did you guys see that video that was
which
posted?
is the tagline for Thunder Mountain.
Did you see that video that was posted of the guy that dropped his phone on Big Thunder Mountain and then just jumped out to go get it?
I did not see that
Is
one.
it new?
I think so. Yeah, like he he dropped his phone and then at the top of like one of the inclines in the middle of the ride, he jumped out and ran back down the incline to get his frickin' phone, and the whole ride stopped. All of the coasters on it. So how many are going at once? 3, 4. Everybody's just waiting, and then the guy that's filming the dude running to get his thing, he runs back up the incline to get back in his seat and just turns to the camera and goes, "Sorry guys," and just jumps back in. Yeah, yeah. And I'm sure he's dead now.
You've seen
Disney
the-
probably killed him.
You've seen this video?
Yeah.
I'm googling it right now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I
wanna
would
see
love to
this.
see.
This is real.
Big
this
Thunder
is
Mountain.
Big Thunder.
Yeah, I think it was Big Thunder.
Big Thunder
yeah, it was
Mountain
Big Thunder.
has one of those problems where just too many things have happened on it that are scary and not okay.
Like what?
Like someone died on Big Thunder Mountain.
Really?
Yeah.
The one here?
Yeah. And
Is there-
it was
what?
Yeah, it was like someone's birthday and they were on Big Thunder Mountain.
1 year ago, guy jumps out of ride for phone, and it's in the. I'm signed into Valley Folk.
that would be it.
And
Maybe it
I
was a
can
year
tell
ago,
it's
so it's not
already been
super
watched
recent.
recently. Yeah,
But
but,
there it
you
is.
watched it recently.
Steve, you keep talking.
Okay. Yeah, so there was a death on Big Thunder Mountain. It was like in 2003 or something.
What happened? What'd he do?
It was
or
like
she?
it was a guy, and I think it was something happened where like the train ahead stopped, and there was some kind of emergency brake problem, and then the other train just
no.
smashed into it, and then just like
No.
killed someone.
That's
yeah.
Jeez.
nightmare stuff. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I
This
love
is-
It
it.
happened at 11:28.
This is
I
where
love
the
it.
guy jumps out.
So Elliot's watching the video.
Okay, so it's slow motion.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
this
Really,
guy.
buddy?
he's out.
So he jumped out and he
Wait,
ran down, and
he-
now the thing is stopping. And they're like, "Why are we stopped on
Wait.
this incline?"
I didn't see him jump out.
I saw him stand.
You
But
saw
now-
him
but
jump
now-
out?
No.
What an asshole.
Fake,
And now they're like, okay,
fake
well-
snakes rattling.
See this guy's running back up the incline right now.
He's hoofing it.
This
Oh
is the
my
guy
gosh.
who jumped off the ride?
Dude, what
Hey,
a
listen,
dream!
listen,
I've
listen,
always
listen,
wanted
listen.
to do that.
Sorry, y'all.
He's hoofing it like a guy not really running across the
He
street.
ain't got his phone because it was shattered anyway.
Yeah, that guy was thrown the F out of Disney for sure.
Did he get back in? Oh no!
They didn't even get to finish the ride.
Everybody
that
had to
sucks.
get off the ride.
What a D.
Can you send me that, Elliot?
Absolutely.
That's a good one.
We'll put it in the video version, which is available at youtube.com /SourceFedNerd.
Good plug.
Thank you.
Can I just say really quick, and while I do this, actually, here, hang on. The death that occurred on 2003 on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad was the 10th since the park opened in 1955.
Not on that ride specifically, but
no.
okay.
It was the first
10 deaths on Big Thunder Mountain.
It was the first fatality at the Anaheim theme park since 1998,
Holy crap.
when a cleat tore loose from the Columbia sailing ship and struck a visitor in the head,
Whoa.
decapitating him, is what I heard. Friday's incident is the
Wait,
second.
does it say decapitating him? That's what I heard.
No, that's what I said. I added that part.
That's the headline.
Friday's
Just
incident
ends is what I heard.
Friday's incident is the second serious accident on Big Thunder Mountain since 1998, when a 5-year-old boy was badly hurt stepping off the ride.
Don't do that.
His foot was crushed against the curb when the train lurched forward.
I don't think we need to read this.
No.
I don't like stories about people getting hurt.
You hate to hear it, but it's real.
Yeah,
we live
you
in a world
don't
where
have to hear it,
it's
I will say
bad
that
things happen
on the
know?
list of things that we as a society aren't looking at close enough. It's definitely fluke accidents that happen at theme parks.
Yeah, exactly.
10. So it said 10 deaths at Disney.
Yeah.
I know about the one on Sing America.
There
That
was
one's-
one. You mean
America Sings?
Carousel of Progress? America Sings.
That's
Yeah.
The most
That's-
dangerous is
That's the scariest.
Hall of
grossest
Presidents.
thing.
Hall of Presidents.
I mean, it's
is-
just a scary place.
yeah.
Did you know the Hall of Presidents? All of those are just all of the people that died at Disney. They just reanimated.
They
their-
reanimated them, yeah. and
Oh,
made their
that's it.
faces look like presidents.
Yeah.
That's easy. That's the
Did you
easy
know that
part.
there's a Trump animatronic in the Hall of Presidents?
I
It
did
has
know.
to be.
Yeah.
I remember when they unveiled that. It's a
Me
rough
too.
one.
It looks pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
Makes me feel like they did it on purpose and made it look weird.
I bet they did the most subtle Uncanny Valley stuff on that, where they were like, we could make it look more real, but it's close enough.
All right. Well, yeah. Anybody have any other topics?
I was going to talk about the little bit of the Game of Thrones, but I guess it's kind of late right now because the new episode will already be out by the time this episode airs. So it's
Yeah.
not really
How do you feel so far? We can talk about
We
that.
can talk about
I
like
just
how big
found
it
out
was.
people
I think.
are complaining a little bit, and it's interesting to me that people are so critical of something so good, and
Same.
it's just I don't get it.
In a story way, yeah.
I don't
for
know if
sure.
it's just like I'm not saying their opinions are invalid or even wrong. I just think that it's I personally don't have that pedigree in my brain of like I'm looking at things as though I need to
Right.
decide if I like it. And like I just felt like that episode was so fun. And
It was a journey.
It was just like this is where we've come to as society in TV and entertainment, and yeah, I loved it very much.
I've
but
certainly never seen anything like it on TV.
Technically
that's for sure.
speaking, it's like
Yeah.
the biggest battle ever caught on camera
That's
for
so cool.
TV
Yeah.
or film.
And I
So
read a
many
thing that's
good
it's the
moments.
lowest rated of the
What?
battle episodes of all of
Really?
the
Even Battle of the
whole
Bastards?
series, way lower than Battle of the Bastards, and the most critically maligned to the point that I was like, is this a joke headline? I
Interesting.
thought I was reading The Onion, but apparently it's only like 9.0 versus like anything else.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
still
Versus
an
like
A.
9.2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a good.
If we're grading on a curve, it's an F, but it's still an A.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
it should have been bigger than the Battle of the Bastards or any other fight.
I would
really, or any
contend
other
like
battle.
a lot of people are pretty up in arms, rightfully or not rightfully so, about this season. So maybe the first two episodes
true.
we didn't really get people.
maybe people tuned
loving it.
out
Exactly
before it even happened. Wow, that's dumb.
I'm sure you'll probably like lean into
What a
the
mistake.
the technical problems that
Oh
you
yeah,
had. But
yeah.
I, will
have a
say,
lot to say about it, but I don't want to waste any
we all,
time here.
yeah, we get, yeah. It's
I
like
It's
almost-
just so technical garbage.
I almost tweeted out that this thought that I had, which is like, congratulations to Game of Thrones for creating a series, the only series in history where people are disappointed if you don't kill your favorite characters. How insane is that?
Yeah.
People were mad that some of the biggest characters didn't die.
well, and it's also
That's
or get
insanity.
hurt, really.
Yeah.
or at all, even
Yeah.
the ones
Oh,
that
shit.
definitely should
You
have.
get to what, 2 to 3 more episodes with your favorite
Which,
characters?
in fairness, I will say I thought more people should have died, but I didn't want to see them die. So when they survived, I was like, great, I get to hang out with them longer. But I think what I liked about the episode as a whole, and sorry, this is spoilers, but come on, is it? I think a lot of the criticisms were like, that's it, it's over, and I'm like, I wanted this plot line to be over for so long because I don't think it's as interesting as like
I
the
think you're in the
political,
minority there.
maybe, but I like I like the
You're
interpersonal.
more interested in with the Circe.
I like
plotline.
the flawed characters and complex morality and like people one-upping each other in like a really cool kind of backstabbing way. I like the drama of the
No,
show.
I 100% agree with you. No,
Yeah,
100%.
and
there's no way they could have made this episode any better than what anyone expected. People built it up too much in their minds.
Right.
It's 8 years.
Yeah.
in
And
the
also,
making.
just from a storytelling perspective, the White Walkers, just this big, ominous, sort of basically faceless, backstory,
darkness.
dark entity is like
Yeah.
not that
Yeah.
interesting. And it required basically a Deus Ex Machina plot thing of like lighting the thing on, or the blade, or the whatever that just kills everybody and
Valerian
everything
steel
at the same
blade.
time. And it's just like it's one big moment that swoops in, and well, actually, that was more the fire than necessarily that end scene, which is so cool. But anyway, I like not having the only bad guys versus only good guys. I don't want to see everybody come together and be like, our differences are fine because there's a greater enemy. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. That can last for so long, but like, who's gonna? Let's get back to the.
And that's where we are for 3 more episodes.
And that's what I'm excited about. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I am pumped for more.
I
Did you
just,
see
yeah, I
the,
think that there's just a mind. There's the people liked the stupid, zombie stuff, and they liked the scary.
I guess,
stuff,
but then
and-
they're the
yeah.
ones that are like complaining. It's like I
know.
saw all the stupid stuff and I like it. Like,
But
I like
also,
all the,
like the zombie stuff doesn't really. It's not you. Is what you pointed out is like the political drama, or like the like even when it comes to the economic drama that they have on the show, it is what pulls people in. The idea of the zombies is fun, but when he shows up, you're like, oh wait, he doesn't actually. I don't know what he wants besides. It's like Light and Dark,
and
where
it
it's like
served
it
its
doesn't-
purpose. It did move the plot forward, and it
Yeah.
did make all that
Brought
stuff
everyone
kinda-
together.
And people
Yeah.
forget too that the series was built on what we're about to head into in the end of the series, which is just kind of that battle for the throne
Yep.
with those kingdoms
I
and
mean,
stuff.
Game of
A-
Thrones,
and
not Game of Zombies, everybody.
Yeah, and
Right.
the show gained popularity and captured our hearts and imaginations by being a show largely that wasn't as fantastical as it ended up being in these past couple of episodes.
Yeah, and there's something just to like bringing all the characters together in a way that they can form new alliances sets up really nicely. I think the opportunity for there to be more plot moving forward.
dude, we have
because
so
you
much.
have to have something like
It's-
that. Otherwise,
it's a
they'd
soap
always
opera.
be separated.
It's a soap opera with daggers moving
Yeah.
forward. It's going to be awesome.
I have a question to ask you guys. It's more of like a moral kind of interesting thought.
incest.
Question. But no, what do you
Incest.
think?
Let's talk about
why
it.
do you think people are so obsessed with who's gonna die in something? Because Avengers had that whole, and again, without getting into spoilers, building up to Avengers Endgame, everyone's like, who's gonna die? Who's gonna die? And there's articles, who's gonna die? Is Captain America gonna die? Is Iron Man? Is the Hulk gonna die? And it's like, why do we care so much?
I mean, it's the ultimate intrigue, isn't it? It's like it's the thing that we're all afraid of. In the end, it's the end. It's a bigger conversation about like us just being on this planet.
It's the full stop to most stories, and the story that way we view our own story. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't continue on with like you could say your legacy is what carries on, but your story ends.
Man, maybe
So,
I can handle my death better if I see Iron Man die first.
You think that's what it is,
I can
truly?
grasp
I
it
think
better.
there's an inherent thing. There's nothing more intriguing as a human on this earth than the creation of life, having kids, sex involved with that, of course, and then dying. Like those are like the two universal things that we all do. We're created, we create, and then we go away. Like that's it.
And so, and what do you think about the anger associated with not certain characters not dying, being?
I mean, it's just you got kind of
Same
jerked
thing.
around a little bit. I mean, you thought something was going to happen, and it didn't.
So it's just people being upset that their ideas didn't happen, you think?
Yeah, I mean that's normal, but it's also normal nerd culture.
Yeah,
like
it
you
is.
guys, nerd culture makes stuff really not fun
Yeah,
fast
I
when they don't
know.
get what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of telling artists and creators how to be and what to do and how to fulfill their preferences is such an annoying part of this like wonderful time.
well,
And
we live
even more now than ever with fucking social media.
Yeah,
where
and-
you could talk to the director.
Yeah, well, we all have
Yeah.
a voice, and the way that art is created now, it's these long plays, right? So for Marvel, this is again like my daughter. It's been part of her life for 10 years. Game of Thrones the same, about 10 years, right? So these things have been with us forever, and all we've been doing in the back recesses of our minds is writing our own novels. So you're creating your own outcomes, you're creating your own premonitions that are in regards to the story, and then when they don't happen, you're either going to be floored or disappointed. And like you said, the problem is that now everybody has
You're
a
gonna be
freaking
floor to
platform
board, baby.
say it.
Floor to board.
Like, oh, that didn't do the thing that I wanted it to do.
Yep.
When you need red wine at 4 p.m., sushi at 9 p.m., a breakfast burrito at 8 a.m., and ibuprofen at 10 a.m., Postmate it. Postmates is your personal food delivery, grocery delivery, whatever kind of delivery service all year round, guys. Anything you're craving, Postmates can deliver. They're the largest on-demand network in the U.S. and offer delivery from all the restaurants, grocery and convenience stores, and traditional retailers you could possibly want or need. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Postmates will bring you what you need within the hour. No more trips to the store, guys. You don't even have to know where the store is. Postmates will deliver anything to you. That's right, anything. Download the app for iOS or Android for free. Browse local restaurants and businesses and track your delivery in real time. And guys, for a limited time, Postmates is giving our listeners, that's right, you listening to this right now, $100 of free delivery credit for your first 7 days. That's right, guys, $100 of free delivery credit for your first 7 days. To start your free deliveries, download the app and use the code Valleycast. That's right. That code is Valleycast for $100 of free delivery credit for your first 7 days when you download the Postmates app. Anything you need, anytime you need it, Postmate it, download Postmates, and save with code Valleycast. Thanks a lot, guys, and thanks for the break. Thanks a lot, guys, and thanks for that ad break. And now it's back to the show. See you guys. Does anybody have a more positive topic?
Well, I will say,
well, there was I mean,
that
the positivity
was
is
fun.
It's fun, and I'm
Yeah.
excited,
Dude,
and it sucks that there are people who I think I'm also just confused by it. It's less of like a bummer, and I'm more just like I don't have that. Like I think it's I don't even know if I dislike it. I'm just like I have no opinion.
I'm just watching it as a complete fan.
Yeah,
I'm
at
just
this point,
watching
I'm
it.
just gonna see
same
it
with
end,
Star
right?
Wars. It's
Yeah.
like I'm just
Dude.
you know what it is? I'm just not that into it, and I just enjoy it as like a all right, cool.
But you're also so deeply into it now that you have to fucking finish it.
And it's
you're like
the
so
conversation
close.
is around,
Yeah.
and it's like I love it.
Yeah,
like,
you wanna
I
be in
just
the
love it in a way
conversation.
that's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, and on a positive note, yeah, this is a societal thing that we're all enjoying together, which is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
On a positive note in regards to that episode, so many cool moments. The freaking Dothraki with the flames, that was amazing and
Yeah,
it's burned
there were
into my
great
brain.
moments, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we should. Anyways, the end moment, the drop. Oh, it's one of the coolest
Yeah.
things that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it makes me sad that there's going to be a lot of people who will know Game of Thrones for that, and because there's those people that are just like, well, I've never seen it before, but I'll watch this episode. It's like there's so
we
much
kinda
rich
talked about that
character.
with, like it's the first show I know of that is going to be the problem is when it ends. People are going to know. We talked about this on the stream a little bit. But people are going to know who wins the game, so to speak. Like if it is
Yeah.
a Game of Thrones, and I think that will deter people from watching it because even if you're like pitching Breaking Bad or something like that to somebody, you might have an idea of how it ends, or you can assume stuff with The Sopranos, but you still will go on the journey with them.
Yeah.
I feel like with this specific show, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for newcomers to want to go through that journey
wonder.
Yeah, and
when
I
they
think-
already know.
That's
And-
it. Well, because it is a definitive answer based on the title of the show.
Based on-
So
it
yeah,
feeds into it.
Because I was
yeah.
like, Lost is like one of those where it's like really up in the air about where people sit
Yeah,
on
that's
if
what
they
I'm
liked
saying.
it
you
or
never
not.
knew.
Yeah.
There's a
even if
decision-
people didn't like the
And even
ending.
context-wise, if you knew the ending, and then you watch the first episode, you have no idea how they got to that
Yep.
ending. So.
I feel like showrunners of modern shows have a decision to make, like whether they want to leave something open-ended or whether they want to definitively end something. And it seems like either way, you're gonna get a major crop of people that are assholes about it. But I tend to prefer. I mean, I feel like, not to spoil anything, but Breaking Bad ends pretty clean cut. Sopranos is like up in the air.
Yep, that's
There's all
like
these
two
shows.
complete opposites.
Yeah, Lost is. It's interesting
is
how
polarizing.
Yeah, but so many
Polar
people.
bearizing.
So many
Robert
people,
Downey polar
Polar
bearizing.
when people,
Jr.
talk, when people talk about the end of Lost, they always say something like kind of wrong about what they think actually happened, and it's kind of like weird that people don't understand what actually happened at the end of Lost, and a lot of people kind of wrote it off as this simple thing. But there's a lot of shows where I truly believe that if Game of Thrones ends with kind of like some open-endedness, then it'll just be one of those shows that people just talk about forever and ever and ever, and then you won't have to worry too much about that finality of like, well, this person sits on the throne and that's the end.
Yeah, maybe. Who
knows?
knows?
Hopefully, we'll
I'd be
see.
down.
There's
Whatever
so
they
many.
wanna-
There's so many big moments throughout the series though that are just like names of things. Like when you hear Red Wedding, and if hopefully that
Yeah.
isn't spoiled for you. I think enough of those high points will
Yeah.
keep people intrigued
think
and bring
so,
them back.
too.
Well, no, I didn't watch it as it went. During season 7 is when I finally watched the show, and I understood, and I knew what happened. I
Yeah.
knew the deaths. I knew why that happened. Whatever, still blew my mind.
Yeah.
Still, like the Red Wedding is still unbelievably
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
Just burned.
I
into my
felt
memory
heartbroken
forever.
during this episode. I was like, I want to pause and cry for 5 minutes.
I will say though, though, when Sam's rolling on the ground and just like wildly
I
stabbing.
know, it's
I was
still-
like, how is he not?
Dude.
These are zombies that can think and stab and
Yep.
maybe
the
use
most
guns.
the most unrealistic living
Yep.
person on a TV
Yep.
show ever.
Like,
Yeah,
I-
that's such a good.
He should be in the crypt. It's fine that he's in the
Yeah.
crypt. He's your knowledge dude. It's fine. Put him in the woods. I don't care.
It's a puppy dog thing. He is the human version of the dog character,
Also-
where it's like you can't kill the dog,
yeah.
and you can't kill Sam.
Well, he's the underdog, and he's like the audience character, sort of, because he's like
Yeah.
a book nerd, and he's an unsuspecting
Yep.
hero and shit. But I do feel like I'm really upset. The only thing that really upsets me about that episode, not to spoil too much,
By
but
the way, this is coming after the next episode. We have no idea.
yeah,
It could be,
but seriously, something about that episode that really pissed me off, and this is kind of a spoiler, but who gives a shit? It's over. It's over now. But the crypts thing, like,
that is really funny.
it's angering how. Like I'm
how they
angry
weren't. They
how
forgot that he.
I mean, I'm just angry how
Listen,
stupid it is.
I'm an idiot when it comes to this stuff, and I was watching it, and that hand popped out of the coffin,
Well,
and I was
sure.
like, wow, one of them carved through the wall, and it got out, and I was like, dang, that's an old looking one. And then somebody in your apartment was like, oh, it's the crypts. There's dead people in the, and I was like, oh yeah, there's dead people in the crypt. Like, I didn't
It's
think
like-
about
but
it
that's
at all.
the thing. Like, I'm sure a lot of people didn't think about it, but you have Tyrion and Varys and Sansa and all these
The
really
thinkers.
smart motherfuckers. You have Bran,
Yeah.
who can see the future, who
But they
was
were
like,
fine.
put them in the crypts.
Did you see that little drawing that someone did? It's like, what was Bran doing the whole time?
Ye-
And then they drew birds flying Arya in. Like, that's why she's like flying in at
Oh,
that
that's
last
really
shot.
good.
That's very
That's
fun.
hilarious.
it's just really purely for entertainment purposes only that they put them in the crypts.
Yeah.
And I hate that they wanted just a moment for like absolute despair for
Well,
everybody. But
you
the thing
could
is,
say that you could make a case for the crypts were still the safest place compared to anywhere else, the most impenetrable
But not
spot,
when you're
even
the-
if
not-
there's dead people.
Yeah, where else are they gonna be?
6 dead
But
people
it's
to
like-
deal with is less than hordes and hordes anywhere else.
but it's like the bottom line is what they know for sure is that the Night King can raise the dead,
You know where they should have been.
and they kept everyone
you
where
want to put
the
them where
dead.
the fewest, you want to put them where the fewest dead people.
You know where they
will
should
be.
have
yeah,
been.
That
yeah.
could still be the crypts.
They all should have just been not.
They knew
at
they were all gonna
Winterfell. they should have sent them
Yeah,
away.
get them let them go the opposite direction.
Yeah,
They're
that's-
moving at either
yes.
horse or human speed.
I
That he could get away.
Yes.
Also, Tormund got around him. He's like, "Don't worry, we ditched him. We can all get out of here."
Okay.
It's
One,
literally created for entertainment and it
gonna,
upset.
gonna end it all on a positive note. I'll give everybody some homework. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet. Great video online called "A Bar Full of
Oh.
People Watch the End of Game of
Oh
Thrones."
yeah, is that real? Everyone's
Yes.
saying it's fake.
Why would it be fake?
Wait, we watch it after because I want to see
Yeah.
it. 'cause I wanna-
So people on the internet are
Why
mad
would it?
about.
Why
so
would it be fake?
Not only are they mad about it, they're saying it was from a World Cup game
Wait.
and they superimposed Game of Thrones.
Is it
over
from a balcony shot, looking at a bar full of people, giant screen, and the camera like
No.
goes around?
No.
That's an
Okay,
older one.
so but they use that one all the time.
I'm gonna go. I don't know whose water bottle that is.
Mike Cousins?
Oh yeah, that's probably nice. Yeah, I
I'm-
don't know. I
I'm
watched
gonna,
it
I'm
and
gonna latch onto my positivity.
yeah, I'm
and
skeptical because there were people on the internet saying that it was like fake.
But
I don't care.
Okay,
But I'm
I'm
skeptical.
down.
I'm
Okay.
skeptical.
We can look at.
You're
I'll-
Steve Zaragoza. You're Steve Downey.
I
Zaragoza
forgot.
Jr.
I forgot. I didn't want
Junior.
that to be my topic. I forgot that I wanted to talk real briefly about an isolation chamber that I did. I
Oh
did do
yes.
it.
What was your
And,
experience?
well, it was right before we were going into this thing that we've been doing for a little bit, and so it was right before a high pressure moment. And I went in, and I had a great. Have you ever done this before? An isolation?
Is that
chamber?
the floating one?
Yeah.
Is that the
floating
wait,
tank or whatever you want to call it?
Sensory deprivation.
Sensory
yeah, I've done it.
deprivation,
Yeah,
yes.
and I accidentally dropped salt water in my eye, and I had to get out of it. Really
I
fast.
got salt
Yeah.
water in my eyes. Well.
Yeah,
I had to stop, turn the light on, get water out of my eyes, go back
It
to
sounds
sleep.
like you
Did they
guys
give
did
you
the
the squirt
exact
bottle?
opposite
Yes.
of sensory
Yep.
deprivation.
They give you a squirt bottle, and I just kept emptying
Me
it into
too.
my
Me too.
face,
Yeah.
and it didn't do it.
same thing. But I actually didn't I didn't turn the lights on, so I was in pitch black, just like oh birds.
It's so cool, though.
It's so cool. The sensory deprivation chamber is an experience where they remove the sensation of your senses as much as possible, so you get into a warm water that's the same temperature as your internal temperature. You take a shower beforehand. It's salt, so you float. You do not touch the ground. I wear a ring, like a head ring. Did you use that?
Mm-mm.
A little flotation
No,
to
me
keep your
either.
head fully, like, so, because they say you don't fully relax, and so it allowed me to fully relax. And you spend an hour in there, and it's interesting because it's you go to places. I saw some things.
You hallucinate?
I didn't hallucinate, but I
I-
definitely had some weird kind of things were happening, things were firing in my brain that were not normal, and then it lasted. It felt like it lasted a lot less time than it actually was, and then the lights came up, and for the rest of the evening, I was just spaced out. I was very just like looking off into the distance and very muted. And then I went and hung out with y'all and then kind of.
I'm sorry.
I was, and it's okay, it's okay. But then the whole night I was just very just like, and I highly recommend them if anybody ever gets a chance.
Sam, what was your experience?
It was a wonderful experience. I saw colors, and they were coming in like waves. And
Nice,
they would kind of fold
I
in
saw
on
waves.
each other.
Yep,
Yeah,
I saw a thing that looked like it literally was like like a color orb thing that was like floating around, and it like fell onto the bottom of my frame, and then like went off into the distance.
It's super cool. It was a wonderful experience, and I was able to. That was the first time I ever like meditated, so I understood what it made me understand what they're talking about. It's not turning your brain off. It's just like
the heartbeat.
It's focusing.
That's the creepiest.
Is this? Did
But you
put
can't
two
hear
things
your
together?
own heartbeat. Or you can't hear your own heartbeat.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Ugh. Gosh. It's
Because
like,
of the headphones, it feels like someone's like tummy is pressed against my ear. Tummy.
You saw things. I didn't see anything. Man, I've never seen anything. I want to see something someday.
It was cool.
I want to see a sleep paralysis demon.
I'm so scared of that.
I'm terrified
you
of
don't.
it, but I want to see it so I can face it and conquer it.
nah.
Have you ever had it?
No,
You
but
sleep
I've
paralysis?
heard that you can conquer it.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
What does it look like?
Mine was just don't do that.
Looks like
I'll just take my headphones off and
looks
I don't
like
want to have to not.
looks
hear.
like Noob Saibot from Mortal Kombat.
Everyone says they're terrifying.
It was the most terrifying
Like
experience.
anytime someone says they've seen a paralysis demon or entity, it's always terrifying.
I felt the majority of the stories, and my brother's experience this is like they're on your chest and you can feel a weight, but mine was a weight that was next to me, and like I felt it was the size of a human, and it was just indented in the bed.
And the thing is like there are scientific reasons for your body going into sort of a like when your body goes into REM, it goes into the sleep state. They say that like it really does go into this kind of like lockdown mode where your body just
So you don't like roll off.
so you don't roll
cliffs.
off your bed
Yeah.
or off cliffs or whatever.
Cliffs.
You've never had it? You've never experienced it?
I mean, one time I actually
I
fell
say
asleep.
like you haven't experienced
I
a demon in the dead of
haven't.
night?
I fell asleep kind of hugging myself, and then I somehow rolled face down, so both my arms fell asleep. And so when I woke up, I was like,
no.
I couldn't roll back.
Oh shit.
Dude, I've done it. I've fallen asleep in my arms to the point where I lost complete function of them in the morning. It's the scariest.
It's so
thing.
scary.
Oh,
You think
my-
it's permanent.
My
There's
arm
no.
doesn't work anymore. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
Yeah. This is the definition on Wikipedia of a shadow person. A shadow person, also known as a shadow figure, shadow being, or black mass, that's how mine was, just an all-black figure, is the perception of a patch of shadow as a living humanoid figure, particularly as interpreted by believers in the paranormal or I'll seriously...
I actually don't know. I actually don't know what you're talking
or
about.
supernatural as the presence of a spirit or other entity.
Nope.
And here comes the scientific explanation, so we can all sleep tonight.
Please, science, tell us.
Several physiological and psychological... Now you hit the heartbeat. Several physiological and psychological conditions can account for reported experiences of shadowy shapes seeming alive. A sleep paralysis sufferer may perceive a shadowy or indistinct shape approaching them while they lay awake paralyzed and become increasingly alarmed. Neuroscientists Balan, Jalala, and V.S. Ramachandran have recently proposed neurological theories for why people hallucinate shadow figures during sleep paralysis. A person experiencing heightened emotion, such as while walking alone on a dark night, may incorrectly perceive a patch of shadow as an attacker.
That's the thing. Like it can be explained in scientific ways that your brain kind of just like creates this imagery or whatever. But it is interesting and fascinating that everyone kind of sees
The
something
same thing.
similar.
And
Yeah.
the same experiences. Yep.
Yeah,
It's
it really
fascinating.
makes you. It's fascinating. That's all it is. I wanna read a book about it.
I know, me too.
That's-
It's right up my like
Dude,
hobby alley.
of all the things like I want to experience that I haven't experienced, sleep paralysis, beings, ghosts, aliens, all that stuff. Sleep, I can't believe that's the one you want to see. That scares the freaking
I mean,
crap
I know.
out of me.
I'm also
go for
terrified.
aliens before a shadow
Yeah.
person. Maybe
I'm
not.
also
I don't know.
terrified of it, but I know that, you know, even though there are these, let's say these entities are real. Let's say that there are shadow people that come in the middle of the night sometimes when, you know, they want to feed on your energy or whatever the fuck it
They're
is.
just doing their job.
You know,
Clocking in, clocking out.
so let's say they're
Another
real.
day, another dollar.
Whatever we are doing as individuals in this room, is allowing us to live our lives to the point where we are currently living them without having been hurt by or affected by these beings. So if they are real, it means that there's also a way to keep them away from harming you. And if just seeing them is the worst that they can kind of do, then I'm kind of okay with it.
I know that in my experience, I felt at that time in my life, it was a very dark, bad time, and I myself wasn't in a good place. And so I think that also might hinder your chances of seeing one. I think psychological stress and feeling under a lot of pressure can, I think, cause those things. And if you're doing okay mental health-wise, I think you're less likely.
That's what I'm saying. If you're so far so good,
be wrong.
I mean, again, like the spiritual stuff, the new agey kind of like energy universe type stuff, if you're kind of not privy to it, if you feel like you haven't like experienced something like it, I feel like it just means that it's not time yet.
You're
maybe.
right. I'm perfect. That's right.
You're
That's why.
perfect.
There you go.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Joe,
Thank you,
congratulations.
Sam.
You're perfect.
I'm honestly more scared of when I was a kid. Sometimes you hear cabinets close in our house.
Yes.
I'm more scared about like that one,
Yes.
like the boyfriend that lives in the attic and comes down and steals the person's
Yeah.
food. I'm more scared of that.
Oh, the guy living in the
Yeah,
yes,
more
yes.
like, personally.
The slow creaking of a door compared to the intentional slamming of a cabinet is
Yeah.
so much different. Like,
Dude.
it's so
We
terrifying.
had
Like,
a-
maybe somebody just be
Okay,
like,
go ahead.
We had I was up. All of us sleep upstairs in our apartment. We have an upstairs and a downstairs. And like last 2 weeks, like 2 weeks ago, we were all upstairs, and I hear something like crash. Something fell off a wall or something downstairs, and I was like, I don't want to go down there. I love my family, but I am so scared
I
to go
know.
down there right now. I'm so nervous, and now I have to go down there. And I'm telling my wife, I don't want to go down there.
And even though
Yep.
it seems irrational,
yeah.
there's just something about it.
And I wasn't scared that it was a ghost or a sleep paralysis monster or an alien. I was like, there could be a human down there that wants to hurt me.
yep, that's
Okay,
the real
so-
life stuff. That's the scary stuff.
Yeah.
So really quick, let me tell you guys this story about this one night. So my friend Jeff and I, we were best friends when we were younger kids, and he would spend the night in my house. And my bedroom faced the street of our neighborhood. So like, my bedroom was like right in the front of the house. So it was like the doorway. So if you're looking at my house straight on, it's the doorway, and then to the left there's a window, and that's my bedroom. So we'd be trying to go to sleep or joking around or whatever, and then all of a sudden we'd hear like this wheelchair zzz, like outside, and
What?
And we were like, we were kind of like, oh, what's that? And I look out the window, and it's this. So my neighbor's house was a halfway house, like my whole life, and it was like recovering alcoholics and like
Oh, boy.
people that were like being reinstated back into the world.
What
from
a
like
nightmare for your parents having kids next to them.
Oh, it was bad. We had the cops come through our house one time to get into our backyard because there was
Wow.
like a guy that like hopped the fence. Anyway,
Do you think this
anyway,
informed your sense of humor at all?
absolutely not. You slightly dark and on the edge of
Yeah.
being too inappropriate? No, of course not. So anyway, so there was this guy, and he was in a wheelchair, and he might have been a vet, like a Vietnam veteran, because he had no legs, but he had his arms, and he had this electric wheelchair, and just like, midnight. And we'd hear him pass the window, and then you'd hear his little gate open, and then he'd go, and then he'd go into that place. And so one night, it had happened. It just kept happening all these weekends that he would spend the night or whatever. Here comes the guy in the wheelchair. And one night we were just like trying to spook each other out and scare each other, and we were like, how fucking. And then we started to make each other laugh because it's kind of funny, but we were like, what if one night we're laying here and you just hear the zzz, and it's like, oh, there's the guy in the wheelchair. And then all of a sudden you hear zzz, and it stops kind of like in front of the house we're at. And then you hear my like front gate being like messed with. And then it's like, what the fuck? And then you hear like, and then and you hear it like coming up to the doorway, and like we're like right, the wall is connected to the front of the living room of the house where you come in, and then I'm like, what the fuck? And we were just laughing about how funny that is, and then I was like, well, obviously he couldn't get in, and he's like, well, and then we were like, what if he got to the door, and then all of a sudden you hear like keys.
I was thinking if you heard the zzz and then it stopped, and you were with your friend, and you were like, "What? It stopped." And then you get up to look out the window, and it's just an empty wheelchair.
Wheelchair's
Whoa.
empty!
In that moment, you hear your door open.
Oh shit!
What
And
if
you
you?
just see?
What if you would just start hearing thumps, either like
Oh my
hands,
God.
drag, like hand, drag.
Dude, what if it's like
Hand,
No, what if it's
hand.
like walking on the hands?
Oh, like at
Like-
the end
Yeah,
of Freaks?
like it's done it before.
Yeah, like real
my
fast.
God.
Skilled at
And
it.
then you hear it like on the ceiling.
That's the worst.
But I always just thought it was the
Yeah,
funniest.
that's you look down, you see an empty wheelchair, and then you just see in the window a hand just slam onto the sill. Fun.
Oh my god. Oh
But
my
I always
god.
thought, but it always got really funny when you hear him pull out some keys. It's like, what the fuck? He has keys to my house, and then you just hear the door open.
Dude, we just came up with a lost story from Scary Stories. Remember those books?
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, the
That-
movie's coming
It
out.
looks
Yeah.
so good too. It looks like they're being very, very faithful to
know,
the source
I know.
material. Ugh. Yeah.
Can we watch that trailer after this, and then we'll watch? What was the other thing you wanted to see?
Don't know. I'm really
Game
scared
of Thrones
right now.
bar.
Yeah,
It's
that
a
was
Oh, the Game of
creepy
Thrones bar.
tale.
Yeah.
That's really I like that story.
The
Yeah.
one with the
Short
wheelchair.
film. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, I
That's
like
just
that.
not being in the chair.
Just
Dude,
just something
not being in the chair. I have not seen that. That's really cool.
You could make it like a lights out short where it's
Yeah.
just like just simple, like something easy where it's like this is a normal thing that shouldn't be scary.
and you can hire people who are like quadriplegic, and they use them for like zombie movies and stuff, and they get them like to do stuff where that like we could probably cast a kind of interesting looking.
Or we
person.
could just break Sam's legs.
yeah. What am I doing with them? I'm bad at running.
Just
Sam, you
sitting
don't mind
here.
if we
break your legs.
break your legs.
I'm worked
All
up
right, let's
now.
get the hell out of here, guys.
Yeah.
So what an
Sorry,
episode.
Joe. I took two topics.
No,
It's
that was
okay.
great.
We all had
I'll
fun.
make up for not having
This
one for
was
the
an
next 3
engaging
weeks.
conversation
Yeah.
about all things nerd culture, and we even got into Scary Stories next. Made me very happy. It's one of my favorite book series
Delved
ever.
into psychology and spirituality.
Yeah.
This has been a great episode of the Valleycast, everybody.
Sam, will you please just pimp out everything that you do?
Anything and everything.
YouTube.com/mightbeawesome. Please subscribe and watch the videos there because we're putting a good amount of money in there. If it doesn't do well, then you're going to get real sad. But so far, so good. So please
Great,
go
man.
check that out. And yeah, that's the main thing. Might be awesome. Go YouTube
And
it.
then Sam Basher on the Twitters and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Twitter, Instagram, all the good ones.
Great.
Oh, you guys have a
Well,
Patreon too, right?
Yes, we do.
Shout that out,
Good
buddy.
call.
Shout that
Yeah,
out.
I'm really not doing well here. Patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. But if you do Might Be Awesome, that'll come up too. So
And
that
that
is
is that is
Hey.
spelled patreon.com/THEVALLEYFOLK.
So, dude, thank you for coming, Sam. I want to see you here more, please. And we'd love to do some cross pollination and
Yeah.
get DJ in here too.
Yeah, man.
please and thank you. Game of Thrones, we can talk about
Yeah,
it.
that's a great idea. I love that. Maybe when Game of Thrones ends, we could do like a big let's all do our Game of Thrones thoughts as a series with like a bunch of people or something.
I'm down.
Okay, well anyway,
Let's do it live.
Thank you guys for listening. Yeah, maybe we'll do it live. That's a great idea. All right, so yeah, patreon.com/the Valley Folk. If you want to be a patron of the Valley Folk, you get this podcast early and a bunch of cool goodies and stuff. And thank you guys for listening to the podcast.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.